All right. Let's just see if this works. Hopefully it does. I grabbed some fucking headphones here. I didn't check to make sure anything else was working. At this point, I'm literally giving up. let's let's be completely and honestly real here. I am so over this show. I'm so overdoing this. I'm so over streaming. So welcome to 2021. Yeah, my New Year's resolution was to create better shows, to be more entertaining, to be more professional, and literally every week it just kicks me in the dick over and over and over and over again. And I literally never want to do this anymore. So, with that caveat out there, and knowing that I literally never want to do this show again, I guess we'll do the show today. Truly. So what happened was, you guys may remember a while back, I was using some middle of the road, decently expensive wireless Audio Technica headphones. Those completely died in the middle of an AMA with an exchange, and forced me at the last minute to go out and essentially not be able to hear anyone and make up half the answers to it was the Beaksy AMA. Those poor men, they couldn't hear me. The AMA ended up being late. Everybody ended up being completely miserable. I was completely guessing at what they were saying and was completely thrown off my game. So then I did a couple more shows trying to figure these out while I fought with them over warranty stuff. Still fighting with them. Fuck that shit. So then I went through a couple days working with my fitness headphones, which are these bone conduction ones. Hey DDR freak, can't use these very well for music, and they're really not great for audio. These are for fitness, they're for running, they're to allow me whatever. Well, they paired this morning and then just refused to pair again. So couldn't use these as a backup. Cool, neat, useless. All right, and so then I went out and I bought some new Sennheisers. They paired perfectly for the New Year's Eve stream. They were fine. They're very nice. I like Sennheiser. I should have gotten wired ones. I always say I'm going to get wired ones. I love the most. Well, bought brand new, decently expensive Sennheisers. And the second, did it work? There you go. The second I turn them on and try to pair them with this, they don't pair, they're not seen, and they keep yelling power on. So you know what? There's only so much time. I could deal with this. Who would have thought something that was already paired and already working with your computer would just fail randomly for no reason? So now that I've just thrown about $2,000 worth of hardware across the room, I'm back to using a wired pair at the last second because of course I am. You know what? You know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. But it's very frustrating when I wanted to approach this year with like no more being miserable Crim. Because if you've been hanging out with me over the past couple years, you will recognize that streaming has beaten me down. The constant in this situation is me, inertia, wirelessness, and me. It's very unfortunate. Because yeah, I really don't like wireless headphones, but I will admit this is something that I've learned in the process of streaming with you guys is I need wireless headphones. This doesn't work. This is not safe. It's not okay. I am the lowest common denominator. And friends, let me tell you, I'm fucking low as shit. So, long story short, I can't do this. I can't be tethered. I can't be constrained. And it's awful. It's absolutely awful. So, you know what? It's fine. Whatever. We'll get the new camera that I've been promising. We'll figure this fucking shit out. I will remain perky and delightful. And going into 2021, we're gonna actually really we're gonna really improve this show. Is the hope, right? Is the hope. Either that or you guys will do it. You will beat me down. You will finally destroy me and I will give up forever. It's honestly 50-50. I truly don't know what will come of it. I truly don't know. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me. We had a long talk about this a couple shows ago where I had my breakdown. I pulled that off YouTube because I really was like 2020 and all of the things that were going on in 2020 got to me. Hive got to me. The people around here got to me. Blockchain got to me. You know, supporting other people and constantly pouring from an empty cup got to me. And I had a fucking meltdown. So I pulled that off YouTube because I realized, hey, turns out if you do that, you immediately lose. I think I dropped like 20 YouTube subscribers the second that was streamed. So at the end of the day, what I can tell you I've learned in the last 4 years is how to get worse and worse and worse at streaming, how to alienate an incredible amount of viewers, and how to nuke what is a good thing, because normally we have like 30, 40 people who would come hang out over the course of the show. And you, my dear friends, the 12, 15 that show up now, you are the pity party that boosts me into continuing mediocrity. So I'm going to do my best to also not alienate you. And what that means is we're having a good laugh here now. We're joking about all the things that went wrong. And, you know, I'm whining and complaining like a little bitch. But the reality is, no, we just got to get this out of our system. It's the last sort of 2020 kind of thing that has to be said. And then that's okay. Then we move on because it's 2021. So... as long as you guys are okay with it. And I'm still working with having the camera over here. So things have changed. I'd love to show you. I can't pull it down right now. Lighting has improved. So there's that. Let's take small victories going into 2021. Lighting has improved. Camera's in an okay place, but not totally. My mental health is as good as it's going to get. And the state of crypto and the blockchain is fucking fabulous right now. So we could probably start there. So one of the big things that I wanted to do with Cyberbuzz over sort of the course of the coming year is turn it a little bit more into a bigger range. Yeah, 2020 is instantly retro. We're all going to look back. Now, do you think, though, one of the things about this show, one of the things about Cyberbuzz and the retro aesthetic and sort of tech talk and all of the stuff that we do around here over the last couple years, there is a love of retro. There's a nostalgia that comes along with retro. So, I mean, inherently, by using the term retro, are we insinuating that people are going to develop a nostalgia for 2020? And if that is the case, are they going to develop this nostalgia for 2020 because 2021 will be bad? These questions terrify me. But these are the questions we're going to ask ourselves today. Because Cyberbuzz started out as this love affair with synthwave. It was a place for me to play a little bit of synthwave music for you guys, to talk about the Hive blockchain, do interviews with the people who are creating, you know, a better Hive and a better social place for people to use. Best year of your life so far. Fuck yeah, Big Tom. That's exactly the way that this should go. No more questions. What, you don't want any more questions? All right, fair enough. So what it comes down to is, you know, this show was always very Hive centric. And one of the kind of interesting things about that is that gave it a shelf life, and it'll stay Hive centric because there's still so much going on. And I believe very strongly in all of the things that are being built on Hive that matter in terms of social blockchain adoption and what you can do with it. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Hive Fest for sure, random internet guy. Hey, beat chomps. So here's the deal. You know, over the last little bit of Cyberbuzz last year, if you hung out, we had some really fun interviews. I know DDR Freak, he may or may not be watching. I see some couple people on Vim there. Hi. And I know the Vim numbers that we have on the stream, I'm streaming to my Vim and to MSP Wave. So there's more going on. Things are exploding. Hey, Uncle Bonehead. But Heave Fest, yeah, maybe if you're not used to VR or you hate everything that's happening around Hive. Both things are valuable, to be quite honest. But so, like DDR Freak, we had a really great episode where we talked about what do we want to do with Vim? Where's Vim going in the wider world of streaming? And we talked a little bit with Marty B at the end of that show. Marty's going to do another one coming up talking about DApp building. So, I mean, even though Hive and the way that we used to form this show, which was me answering questions as a crazy lady, as a pleb who's been learning the ropes, as somebody who is really good at explaining technical things to the layman, as creating this show as a link between people wanting to understand more about blockchain and crypto and the Hive ecosystem, we can still do that. But the Q&A is not as important. It's not like it used to be. You guys are fucking smart. You don't need me no more. And so instead, it's time to start focusing on what's happening around the ecosystem, what we want to see, who can we support, what kind of fun things are happening, and just really building up that community. Is Hive development in 2021 going to be big? It depends. It depends. So, what? We'll dedicate a portion of today's show to this for sure. Absolutely. Because I think what's going to be a really interesting distinction for us to make, and we're going to have to figure out what that looks like, is, are we talking about Hive blockchain development, core development, or are we talking about development that is taking advantage of all of the sort of converging things that are happening with the Hive blockchain? One of which is, the price is low as shit. And the blockchain can do a lot of really cool things. And so if you're an outside developer, that's really exciting for you. You still want to ask me dumb Hive questions? You're allowed, man. Totally. Anybody still can. It's just whether I'll be able to build an entire show out of them. I'm not going to lie. My talents, having been honed over the last year, my live stream talents having been honed, I still suck. I just suck. I look back at old shows and I look back at old Full Force radios and I look at how excited I could get you guys and how great I was at building community. And then I started volunteering to do stuff for other people and taking on more work. And then I started sucking. It turns out, guys, I'm going to say this once and once only. And by once and once only, I mean probably every stream is a very lame excuse. It turns out it's hard to be good at everything all the time. If you gave me 30 hours in a day, if you gave me 35 hours in a day, holy fuck, what I would get done. But what I have learned, I have eaten a lot of fucking humble pie this year. And somebody recently, Enjingui, he called me out recently about talents. My talents. DDR Freak is talking about my hand motions at the camera. Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch this landscape. Maybe pull up some of the titty view, get rid of that, give myself a better chance to not have to wear pants on stream. That would be ideal. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that DDR Freak's doing, because I wanna kind of focus on that on social media this week, and some of the cool stuff that's happening with Vim. And yeah, so you interrupted me. Let me finish this jaw-droppingly raw confession. And that is that it turns out that I'm not good at everything. I don't have enough time to be as good at everything as I should be, or that I know I am. And that's been a constant frustration over the last year. If I work on stream stuff, then people go, oh, well, nobody worked on the YouTube for the Hive channel, and it looks like trash. You suck. So then I go volunteer to do that, but then I didn't get a chance to make sure that my fucking headphones are working. So the next show for me sucks. And that's been a struggle, because I am very passionate about Hive. I'm very passionate about Bitcoin. Lots of you hate ETH. I'm passionate about ETH. I love crypto. I love social. I love synthwave. I love all of these technical things that maybe feel like they don't have a lot of overlap, but they do. They absolutely do. And I love creating this show and my other show and making them be a place where all of those points converge, and allow people to really engage and learn and explore and enjoy. So something's got to give this year, and that is kind of the start of 2021. Is what does Cyberbuzz look like under this recognition that I'm not a fucking superhero, which stinks. I don't get any fucking powers. I can't fly. I'm kind of lame. I'm getting pretty fat. Hive prices are down. Like, god damn it, how did this happen? And so that's been an important part of the thought process that I've been going through the last little bit. So 2021, Cyberbuzz, we're going to return back to kind of bringing in a little bit more music, more talks with people who are allowed allowed to kind of use this space as places to talk about what they're building, what they're doing, why that matters to you, and kind of getting back to the fun parts of the stream. And you know what? Honestly, probably taking a load off of a lot of the things that I do around Hive. That's sort of the thing that I've discovered is you can't always be the one that volunteers because somebody's left an AMA on the table. You can't always be the one checking every email and trying to follow up every lead. You can't always be the one making sure that every Discord is functioning okay. You can't always be the one who is holding the hands of the overgods and dragging them into a room and nagging them to talk to each other. Eventually, this is going to do things with or without my input. And that's a-okay. That's a-okay. So that's the goal. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you want to see on that front? Knowing that sort of my focus is having more fun, allowing Crim to go back to being the Crim that you guys enjoy a lot more of, talking to people who are building, you know, being a better friend and entertainer and streamer, a better part of this ecosystem, and kind of accepting that even though my best is awesome for this ecosystem, that sometimes I have to just let it go. I have to accept that I cannot give my best to everything at once. Fuck, I hate saying that. Fuck! So that's sort of where I'm at. And so what that means is looking at this in a sort of forward, hey Crim, what did Good Karma say? What a fucking random thing. Fox, I'm not sure. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. I love that you come all the time, but sometimes you jump into the middle of a conversation and think I know what you're talking about and I'm an idiot. So you're going to have to spell it out for me. So no, absolutely not the end in any way, shape, or form. It just means I'm no longer going to get torqued out. I want to see you play less synth rather than more. Well, that's fine. But here's the thing. You know, one of the sort of little wins, you're a smooth brain grug, so I don't know about anything. Cool. Random internet guy. We will talk a little bit about that for sure. So no, is it the end? Absolutely not. I'm not saying I won't do work around Hive. I'm no longer going to let it get me torqued out. I pour my heart and soul into everything I do. Maybe you've noticed. Maybe. And that's dumb. Don't do that. Don't pour everything out of you until you're empty. That's not sustainable. So what that means is I will fuck this, you're turning on YouTube. Yeah, sure, I should be visible over on YouTube. The problem is I still can't get the chat to work because I suck and I'm terrible and I'm the worst streamer ever. Join me for being a terrible streamer. So, Hive stuff matters. Let's talk a little bit about Hive Fest. Let's talk a little bit about, yeah, I'm sorry, random internet guy. I'm literally the worst human. I cannot figure it out. Every week it breaks. Every week something else goes wrong. And you see me, you know, picking up $800 headphones and just fucking hucking them across the room. It's part of the journey. It's part of where we're going together. So, we've spent 20 minutes talking about how I am a steaming pile of failure. And that's okay. That's okay. But now it's time to start talking about forward momentum, forward movement. And Cyberbuzz, like I said, it's this thing. It has so much potential. It has so much fun. Let's roll with it. What does it look like? What is a good Cyberbuzz for you for 2021? So yeah, still Hive stuff. Cool. Got you, random guy. More synthwave stuff. Cool. Got you, people who never asked for more synthwave. Because one of the big wins that I've discovered from 2020 was there are a lot of people, and we know there are a lot of people who don't know about Hive. That's okay. There are a lot of people who don't know about the opportunities that Hive can bring. That's less okay. And so one of the things that obviously I'm going to kind of make my focus for the new year is sucking it up, not rudely, sucking it up and actually getting out and doing some promotion. And I know I've been telling you guys this for a long time, but one of the things I discovered last year is it turns out if you go onto traditional social media and you start fucking throwing darts at people, A, nobody likes being hit with a dart, but B, if you go and you just start talking to people, they want to talk to you. And one of the most interesting things that I've recognized over the last, hey Coin, and Marco, I'm sorry I did it again. I know Marco likes to watch over at the YouTube. Many of you are filtering your way in now. I hope you're having a wonderful new year. 2021, all good vibes, I think is what all the kids are saying now. And we're just, talking about the direction of the show. One of the things that I have discovered is if you literally just go out and like talk to people, they want to talk back to you. And so one of the most interesting things about Twitter specifically is it's given me a direct line to a lot of the artists that I play on this show, to a lot of the artists that I play on Full Force Radio. And so it's been very interesting because a lot of them are having some crossover with crypto art, or building their own communities, or struggling to be heard in a world that is changing incredibly rapidly. Many of them are starting to stream, things like that. And so one of the wow, much wow. Yeah, Doge is looking great right now. I have to say, my big fat bag of Doge, it's good, man. Weigh me down. Keep going, Doge. But so that for me is very exciting too, because a lot of what I'd like to do with this show is bringing people over. I hear you. I see you. Don't worry. Bringing people over and doing more shows. So not just Hive devs, not just Hive project managers, not just live streamers, but also artists and musicians. I'd like to create a space where we can have more discussions. Yes, we could talk about the dumb Hive shit. Yes, we can still do a focus on what's happening in this ecosystem, what's happening with this token, what's happening with this world that's brought us together, but creating a more interesting and entertaining space. So that's my goal for Cyberbuzz. What you guys want from it is also allowed. You have a feedback purpose here. You exist. You complete me. So Random Internet Guy was asking a little bit about HiveFest. I know many of you guys were there. Many of you were hanging out. It was in VR. We all had our headsets on looking like total nerds. But it was a really interesting and exciting time. I presented at HiveFest. Coin presented at HiveFest. Like, there was a lot going on, and it was very exciting. But a lot of what was very exciting was, of course, people developing on top of Hive and inside the Hive ecosystem. And I do get the feeling that Random Internet Guy is asking a little bit about what's going on with the Hive blockchain in terms of core development. Now, people always say, well, you should know because you know everything. And the answer is, I know nothing. But I can give you some insight, and of course there are some core devs who have been working really hard. Now, the problem, there's many problems with Hive. There's so many problems. When you truly fall in love with a community and a token and a blockchain project, and you believe in it on a fundamental level, you are so ripe for abuse. The Hive community is amazing at taking abuse. And, we have been creating this truly decentralized place with a lack of leadership, a lack of figurehead. And if there's one thing that we've kind of discovered in the blockchain space is that more often than not, that's exactly it, Inertia. Except what you should have is that plug from the VR headset. Inertia's dropped a image in chat of the sad Vitalik-esque, VR streamer. Yeah, you gotta unplug that plug and just cram it right into the next guy's butt. It should be like a human centipede of VR plugs and headsets. That would be a little bit more accurate. But Hive is still very exciting to me, and there's a lot of reasons that I still love Hive on these ridiculous levels. And maybe I am. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. Maybe this is me and some, things we don't talk about, some secret wants in the background. Punish me, Hive. But the reality is regardless of sort of the lack of marketing and promotion and the lack of a leader to say, here's the roadmap for the Hive blockchain, because it's decentralized. No one person has just reached up, grabbed it by the tokens and really made it happen yet. And it's problematic because we didn't want that, and we don't want that. And we have a lot of people who say, well, I've been talking about this for 5 years. I know how to fix it since before Hive was a twinkle, since before Steam was a twinkle. I've been writing how to fix it and nobody listens to me. That's every crypto. That's everything. And that's okay. But at the same time, if you literally get off on smelling your own smug about if your only participation is the ecosystem is to consistently tell people, like, you should have listened to me back then, That's going to be problematic. So what I want to talk to you guys about at this point is all of the things that are being built in spite of what feels like insurmountable odds. So when we talk about the dojas, when we talk about the, bizarre market cap coins that are built on hype alone, when we talk about these unknown coins, and yeah, Inertia, I want to talk a little bit about marketing too, because this is another frustrating thing is, when I talked about this, and I've sat in on at least one meeting with a marketing company, potentially for hire for Hive, just to have them do a base marketing campaign. And man, they were terrible. They were just so bad. And part of that is because we're so bad at understanding and expressing what we want to be and who we want to be. And part of that is because we don't have a roadmap. We don't have one sort of central figure that can say, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. Take this message and take it to the masses. We don't have that. It's okay. But it does mean that right now we need to grab some hype-ish marketers. We need to let them have their way with it and see what they come up with, because anything is better than nothing. And, arguably the Twitter stuff maybe doesn't quite meet my personal bar for anything. But in a lot of ways, I see now that if I can get enough people, so let's just see, maybe we should make it a little easier to elect consensus, like goodbye decay voting. Yeah. And you know what? That's another thing too, because here's Big Tom. People are actually working on that and talking about it. It's a thing that's actively come back up again. When I was in, every Steamfest that I've been to, we've been talking about decay voting, expiry for consensus voting. And I have always supported it. I've supported it since before I was in consensus, and I still support it now, even knowing that probably most changes to consensus will knock me out. Most changes to voting will probably knock Jeff and I out of consensus, because I think a lot of people who voted for us probably didn't follow along after the Steam Hive split. And I suspect that the second that we do that, we're going to see a pretty big hit. And I'm okay with that. I still think that really matters. I think that turnover matters. Now, I don't think that if we just elect new witnesses, they're going to have better ideas. The reality is, Big Tom, a witness, and consensus specifically, still has absolutely nothing to do with what gets done. I hate to tell you that, because before a witness in consensus can make a vote and run new code, that code needs to be made. That code needs to be tested. And you have to get somebody inspired to work on code. And it's not even, we just sign blocks. And you know what? I know that's very contentious, Inertia, because realistically, if consensus leaders don't lead, who's going to lead? This is a big thing. But, there's two schools of thought on this, and they're both not wrong. But the underlying fact that you have to remember is it doesn't matter. Consensus could switch. All witnesses could switch tomorrow. We could change voting. We could see passionate sort of marketing community style witnesses all go into consensus. And the reality is that still doesn't bring us more leadership. It may bring us louder voices. It may bring us, whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change what gets coded, the capability of bringing that into the ecosystem. Yeah, consensus witnesses are supposed to be leaders. You know what? People have there are two schools of thought on that, and that's really contentious. Really contentious. It is a contentious consensus, but it's the truth. Here's the deal. When I am providing incredible uptime, I am, right now I'm paying for, 3 backup servers and my original witness server and a seed. And that's what I'm doing. I'm paying for that. It's always up. It's always working. It's always good. I'm always available. That is the absolute extreme of, what a good witness could be. And at the same time, I'm not out commenting on people's posts. Let's bring this up. Let's go here. I got called out because, oh, well, you're not out there curating. And if you are curating, if you're making manual votes, you're not making comments encouraging people. Well, the reality is I don't have enough fucking time in a day. And if I start sitting down every morning and I start spending hours making sure that I go out and I leave comments on the blogging aspect of the platform, what happens to the communities I've built in Discord? What happens to the work that I've done in the background? Thank you. You simp for my leadership. So many mistakes were made. But I bring this up very specifically because people often, there's two camps of Crim supporters. Let's use Crim as an example because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Here's a great example. When I am doing shows like this, people are like, oh my God, this is great. I get asked all the time, why does somebody not do an Explain Like I'm 5 Hive show? How come nobody does that? Hey, I've been here for 4 years doing it. Well, you should do it on the chain. Okay, I'll do it on the chain. Well, now I don't have time to do the other work. I'm not going to answer the emails. Oh, you know what? Ooh, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make sure my price feed is back up. Ooh, well, you're a terrible witness. See, I saw you missed a block. Your price feed hasn't been updated for a day. Oh, your script isn't good. Oh, nobody answered those Twitter messages. Oh, well, everybody's been talking in, the Mattermost and they're fighting and nobody dragged them back in and forced them to talk to each other again. What is a witness? What does this look like? What do other blockchains look like? And what is our expectation? This is a really interesting topic. Now, for me, when people say, hey, I want to see all of consensus change, I don't disagree. And I am very excited. And I do think vote decay is really important. And you can go back. It's very, very, you'll find there are plenty of places I talk about this support, and I do think it matters. I just want to be very clear that simply changing consensus won't bring the changes that we want. Doesn't mean it shouldn't change. So I think that's the first thing that people are going to say. Well, you're a consensus witness and you don't want consensus to change because you're making a ton of money. Look at you. Ooh. Yeah, okay, true. Look at me making a ton of money. So Inertia's pulled up the Hive rewards. Now, most of these are producer rewards. We really don't make a lot curation rewards, though those don't really matter. So the producer rewards are what you get for being in consensus, and they're block rewards. If you go look at our wallet, please feel free. We basically power down enough to pay for the main witness server, the 3 backups, and the seed. That's what we do. I am not making a ton of money. I am not making enough money to be heavily invested in talking people like you out of changing consensus if you don't like it. I think Big Tom's got a great point. If you don't like what's going on, try something different. Again, I agree. It really just does come down to if you change it, that's not enough. That's not enough. I know, in their defense, you did just throw $2,000 worth of headphones out the figurative window. Yes, and that is very fair. I do have a lot of really expensive toys that I work. And that is because I work full-time in the real world. I work full-time plus hours in the real world. I am a web developer, a graphic designer, a copywriter. I create learning manuals. I do marketing. I do a bunch of things for a real company that pays me a lot of money to do it. And I love them and I really enjoy it. And then I work full-time hours on my own businesses, reaching out and working in the blockchain space, art, whatever else. And then, yes, I am a block producer for Hive, which I expect to make no money for. And I do out of a twisted sense of obligation, and probably because I am a little sick in the head. So yeah, I mean, I get it. And you know what? Compared to a regular account, producer awards seem like manna for heaven, from heaven. They probably feel very unfair. And I think even when Jeff and I started and we first got into consensus, one of the first things we said was, hey, it'd be cool and interesting. What if we actually changed them a little bit? What if we made the gap between the top 20 and the backups a little smaller? What if we looked at that? Well, the reality is they're not very high with the prices right now. And they're arguably, for a backup or a consensus witness, they're not as a super motivator for creating a driving force to be the best and most secure block producer out there. And yet we have those people. We have people insanely passionate, whether they think they're going to be fucking rich as shit in the future, or whether they are like me, they really want to see this fucking thing go. They really want to see it do well. They really believe incredibly strongly in some of the things that this can do and some of the problems that this can solve. I don't know what that looks like. And yeah, I understand, Big Tom. I know you're not talking change for change's sake, but I think that's a pervasive attitude. Is there are a lot of people out there who say, well, we have to change all of consensus because look at these top 20s. They don't even go out and fucking comment. And that's a tough thing because you can't even say that's wrong. And in the whole blockchain space, you can't even say that's wrong. If the only metric that you have other than, yes, they're signing blocks, they're very, they have very great uptime, good servers, good security. If the only sort of visual indicator of their belief or love or drive or loyalty to the ecosystem is simply, then you're going to expect them to. And for those of you who are just listening and not watching, I just made the yaki hand. The only indication is they have to tell you what they're doing and you otherwise you won't know, then you're obviously going to need them to tell you. So I think that's fair. I don't know what that looks like moving forward. I don't know how this is going to play out. I can tell you my own thoughts on being in consensus and what I expect from consensus and what I expect from around Hive. But for those of you guys that are just joining us, the whole first, half hour of the show or whatever has been about what I expect to do and what I plan to do moving forward. Did you call me a mom of 4, Kwa? I wish 4 dogs. I can tell you what I expect, what I'd like to see, what I dream of, what I am trying to lure other people into participating in. And my own vision, it is my own. And, unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of sway over a long-term tech roadmap because I have less ideas on that. I honestly think that in a lot of ways, minus, say, some consensus, governance voting issues, and potentially some tokenomics issues, the blockchain isn't bad as it is. I don't know that in terms of changing the reward pool and constantly fiddling, I don't really see that being the thing that makes us get out there. I personally would like to see everybody come together, agree on, say, 1 or 2 big features that Hive is missing that we know we can do really well with our feature set, work together, achieve them, and then say, that's the roadmap. That's what we're doing. So in this case, wow, Disco has showed up. That's wild. Is Inertia playing a violin for me? Is he saying I'm whining? Oh my God, Inertia, I might be whining. I'm sorry. But that's my sort of take. And the other day, I literally pinged every fucking person working on a second layer solution, and I dragged them into a room where a bunch of people are fighting, so everybody was ignoring it. And I said, please come in here and talk about what you're doing. Maybe, even if you all still create your own solutions, maybe. Oh, fiddling. Got it. Okay, my bad. So Disco showed up. It's so exciting. So maybe, just fucking maybe, if I get them all in a room and I say, you're all working on the same thing, and you know what? You're all going to be big, tough competitors. What if you all agree on this one thing so that even though you're competing internally in the Hive ecosystem for people, for funds, for whatever, that at the same time you can all turn around together, look at the entire crypto world that has all the money and all the users that you want, and stand them united on one front and say, we have layer 2 that does blank, and just go out there and just fucking do it. So, that's my goal, and it sure does beat me down. I will tell you. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to continue to be everyone's naggy mom. I'm going to pour from this empty cup until I'm the whiniest bitch on the planet. And come hell or high water, Hive is going to do something. So in the meantime, until it does something, yeah, and DeFi is a big thing. And in the future, Disregard Fiat and I are going to talk a little bit more about his plan. But if you want to look more into DeFi, there is a proposal out right now by Disregard Fiat. He's been working on Deluxe as a DeFi issue. And so we've had the capability to do this. I mean, we talk about Hive Engine and a lot of people hate it, but there is a great reason for Hive Engine. There's a great reason that we have had the ability to just, somebody comes in and to this ecosystem and says, I want a token. Let's do the thing. Here is my money. And there's nothing wrong with us having an ecosystem that has a Hive Engine solution, that has a Deluxe decentralized solution. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the fact that Simple Game wants to work on his own layer 2 NFT and sort of a DeFi engine as well. All of you should fucking do it. All of you should do it, and you should all be talking to each other while you do it. Figure out, what are they doing? What am I doing? What's complementary? What's competitive? Can we share code? Should we be getting people into a room to discuss, to talk about it, is undoing years of fucking brainwashing. It's brainwashing from the crypto system. It's brainwashing from the Steam system. And yeah, it's brainwashing from the birth of Hive. And this is very important to me. And so again, when people say, hey, you're a shitty consensus witness, fuck you, I hope consensus changes. Okay, cool. No problem. But in the background, I am going to continue doing what I think is best for Hive. And that is a lot of the time nagging the shit out of people who can create things that I can't. So yeah, this whole thing, we're like, hey, you know what? The show isn't going to be too Hive-centric today. And it's literally only been about Hive. And that's fine. We could keep talking about that. Who would say that to Crim? All the time, Inertia. It's the worst. It's the worst. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a show in Altspace with Danny, with Coin, about Hive. And he'll be on this show coming up soon. He'll do a takeover with me. Although he says he won't pound alcohol with me, which is sad. But we'll talk a little bit more about what he's doing, because he's got connections between what's happening on ETH and with Hive, places where these blockchains complement each other. God damn it. God damn it. So it's fine. Stinky old consensus witnesses. And again, I don't even care if you're mad at them. I don't care if you're mad at me. You don't have to like everything that I do. You don't have to vote for Jeff and I. I think there are a lot of reasons not to vote for us, as many as there are to vote for us. So as much, I'm a cringy, shady consensus witness. Listen, I will always talk to you straight. I truly, truly do not care. What makes me a good and bad consensus witness is the money from Hive doesn't matter to me. And therefore, I have made a lot of huge mistakes. We've talked about this, and you guys might feel the same way, or maybe you don't. It's true. Jeff's been sick, so maybe if everybody wants to tag him, my God, he's had a rough end of 2020. The last couple months of 2020 have been incredibly, incredibly hard on him. So if you guys want to, maybe everybody can tag follow BTC News in here and just send him some love. Just say, big ups for 2021. Feel better. Because it's been a hell of a road for him. But let's close this off, because who the fuck cares? Most of you guys came for Synthwave or to talk a little bit about other stuff, or let's not get too Hivey. We did it. We went there. We got too Hivey. So let's kind of, let's find some thread through this that is actually logical, that can tie this all together. And that is, don't tag him for that. Yeah, and Inertia, thank you. You got me back on track. One of the things that makes me potentially a very bad witness is I do not pursue the money. And arguably, nice! All right, hang on. Big Tom finally gifted me some alcohol. So, Inertia, let's touch on this, because I think this is very fucking valuable. I've made a lot of mistakes on this blockchain. When I came here, I started sharing stories and I started making a lot of money with posts, and not $12,000 a post. I missed that wave of price. But in terms of support and votes and engagement and money and curies and whatever the fuck else things were valued on back then, I made a lot of money on posts. And then I realized, yeah, but I can't make a lot of money on posts unless this system grows. I can't. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You never have to apologize for coming. People come, people go. They're watching on YouTube. They're watching on Twitch. They're watching on 2 different Vim streams. They're listening on the Crim makeup video. Oh, honey, I put on makeup, I think, once, like the other night, and people lost their minds. And I'm very bad at it. But let me continue telling this story. I was making a lot of money and getting a lot of support. And I realized, not sustainable. Not necessarily sustainable in terms of me making money forever, but the ecosystem has to continue doing well. So more people, yeah, there's a video stream. There's been a cam feed for like a fucking year, Disco. And so I thought, okay, well, I want to learn more about this. Where does this money come from? You know, I understand ETH, I understand Bitcoin, I don't understand Hive. Started looking into that, started learning more about that, started understanding block production, started understanding why block production matters, started understanding why people in the ecosystem do have to have the interest in running a charity node, so forth, so on, etc. And then I jumped into that. And, you know, the descent into madness has been slow but consistent. But Inertia's got a great point. If a consensus witness, and especially, say, someone like myself, who isn't invested in making a ton of money, disgusting amounts of money, are they motivated in the right ways to make a token's price go up? Good question. I certainly wouldn't say that I don't want the token price to go up. Yeah, you're right. But am I invested enough in the right ways to truly have the motivation and understanding to push this ecosystem up? Can't be done by one person alone, but what if every witness had that exact same mentality? Every single one. Now again, the problem comes down to, you're going to have an idiocracy moment. If you go to witnesses and you say, hey, what are you doing for the ecosystem? Do you care about money? All of them are going to be like that dude from Idiocracy. They're all going to be, I like money. I like money. That's what they're going to say to you. If you ask them, do you care about the token price going up? They're going to say yes. Of course they are. They're big, fat bag holders. And you know what? As much as people hate on a lot of them, many of them have poured a lot of money, a lot of their other crypto holdings, their time, their effort, their love, their life into Hive. Consensus or not. There are some in Consensus who I know are hated. And in general, the thought of being a consensus witness now, you're going to get shit on. You're going to get shit on. People are going to hate you. And that's what happens in leadership roles. But of course, we've already talked about today that just being a consensus witness, we still don't have a great definition of what that leadership role looks like, what that leadership role should express itself like. So should it be someone like me saying, I'm okay with spending the money, the bare minimum, to make sure that I can run all the best servers and do the best I can for the chain, and as long as I can do that, and I'll even do it out of pocket, that's good. Is that enough? Is Inertia right? Do you need a bunch of witnesses who literally, come hell or high water, want absolutely nothing but number go up? That's the crypto mentality. What is it? The crypto Chad. My best friend's name is Chad. He hates it. The Chad mentality. Number go up, bitches. Is that what you need in a leadership position? In a lot of cases, that is an excellent motivator for making things happen. It's a tough thing to say. I honestly don't know. This, to me, is why we have, as many consensus witnesses as we do. That redundancy comes back to, well, you're going to get a diversity of skills. You're going to get a diversity of thought processes. You're going to get, hopefully, a diversity of wants and needs that round out into a good vision for the ecosystem. What if Hive was run by Chads? that's a question that maybe we need to ask ourselves. Inertia, I don't know. What if Hive was run by Chads? What if we just wanted number go up? What would that look like? If all of us today suddenly turned into alpha Chads here in the chat. Hey, anti-socialist. If that's what we all turned into, what would our ecosystem look like? Now, for those of you who have moved over to the YouTube link, please remember that the YouTube chat is horrifically broken. Everywhere else you can join in with us. There's lots of people in the Discord. There are people on the MSP Waves Vim stream. There are people on Crimsonclad's Vim stream. There are people on the Twitch feed. The Twitch feed comes in here. You might be listening on mspwaves.com. Pretty much you can all chat except YouTube. YouTube hates me. It's the worst. So yeah, now that we're all chatting, you're all in your Chad your Chad mentality. How diverse can it be when one account basically elects the bulk of consensus? Yeah, I think that's fair. And at the same time, I would definitely say that at this point, there's a diversity of thought in consensus, given how much squabbling and infighting and nonsense there is over every single decision. But I guess how diverse can it be? How diverse can it be if the same people blogging, are you getting an unwatchable experience? I apologize. You're getting it on 2 platforms. So is it me? It's not me. I have exactly 0 dropped network frames. I'm not sure what's going on. So anti-socialist, maybe ping Ron and just let him know what you're experiencing, and we will try to do some troubleshooting for you. If a Chad votes for other Chads, that's fine. Yeah. I would say arguably that's even like saying, you know, how can we have a rewards distribution consensus if someone can have a lot of fucking stake and can, you know, allocate a majority of the rewards pool and therefore can continue, allocating that rewards pool in a way that continues to make sure that they are the most powerful and their friends are the most powerful. It goes beyond consensus. It goes to the heart of what the fuck does DPoS even mean? And it's certainly problematic. It's certainly problematic, but I also don't think that this truly is the main problem. And I don't want you to feel like I'm putting your idea down, Big Tom, because I think being concerned about consensus, turnover of consensus, and how consensus is elected matters. But I'm just saying, we have some people, you know what we have? Let's put it this way, D-Chad. Yeah, and I agree. There are some pretty great groups here that completely hate each other's guts that still somehow use the same blockchain in the same space and are in their own little world thriving. Whether you would say Chad big money number go up thriving, less so. But in terms of building engaging communities, one of the most incredible global communities that exists, yeah, that is a thing. People are always shocked. Oh, yeah, that exists on Hive. Yeah, that group's here. Yeah, that's actually already built. Yeah, lots of people are using that. Yeah, lots of people are playing that game. We forget that there is an incredible diversity here. An incredible diversity. So what I will say that Hive has a lot of is one-issue voters. One-issue voters. If consensus changed, it would all be better. If we destroyed the reward pool, it would all be better. If we, had DeFi, it would all be better. If, we got rid of freedom stake, it would all be better. And they don't care about anything else. And the problem is we don't get to do that. You don't get to create a scientific experiment where you isolate any one single variable and test repeatedly for that variable and then take that out into the world. Unfortunately, we don't work like that. Hive has been one large experiment with a fuckload of ridiculous variables that has pulled it in a lot of different directions. And it hasn't necessarily led us to a win. Yeah, I agree. DDR Freak, that's a good point too. What's funny is diversity has actually turned people off in the past. We are known for, being a champion of free speech and having a lot of people who are really interested in sort of some of the traditionally censored topics come here because free speech is a thing we can support. Censorship resistance is a thing we can support. So we get anti-vaxxers, we get flat earthers, we get the conspiracy people, depending on, who you are and how much time you've spent in here. Conspiracy means a very different thing to a lot of you, but in general, the conspiracy people, there's probably a hierarchy of conspiracy people. The ones that are like, is he kissing a goblin? Does he kiss him and then stab a goblin? Yeah, there's InfoWars right off the bat. But my reality is we've done a lot of that where the diversity actually is worse. There isn't a homogenous group here that we could say, all of the tea cozy enthusiasts are here. Let's go out into the world and get all the rest of the tea cozy enthusiasts and we'll be fucking unstoppable. Hasn't happened yet. So the reality is we can have these theoretical discussions all day, and we probably will. That is why this show exists. This is why it exists. I'm completely useless to you. I give you zero answers. Hopefully, if nothing else, I entertain you while I talk about a lot of this. You know what I mean? So, look, we're halfway through the show already. My name is Crimsonclad. I had a lot of people who started out the show with me, and I hemorrhaged many of them. I apologize if I chased you off. We are streaming all over the place. There is some improvements to do. I promise I will figure out what's happening with the YouTube stream. And if I don't, what I will do is I will potentially turn off comments there, so at least you will be forced to come back and engage here. You won't just type over on YouTube and have it shoot off into the void. I will work on routing my own personal Vim stream comments into here. This is a new thing. I've made sort of this big effort to really kind of get behind and use Vim in a meaningful way for myself as well. So that's the thing to come. Generally, everything's fucked up. Just come into the Discord, say hi. And if I chased you off already, well, god damn it. You know what? Son of a biscuit. It's because I'm throwing headphones and waxing philosophical about a blockchain that nobody cares about. So I did have some stuff that I wanted to talk a little bit about today. I didn't get a chance to pick any music because it turns out my entire hour-long prep of going into this show was me swearing and ranting at every pair of headphones that in existence, which I've thrown them. I was going to hold them up again, but one's over there, one's back there, one's over here. So I did have some other stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about today. And we did, popular speech doesn't need protecting. Wow, there's a level if I've ever seen one. Where did I put my alcohol? And not everybody has to be patient. You don't have to be patient. A sense of urgency matters, and especially in a space like blockchain, in a space like crypto, in a space where Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs every fucking minute this morning. There is urgency. Patience isn't always rewarded. It's tough. It's fucking tough. Whatever you do, it will probably not be the right thing, but you have to try anyways. You're gonna have to make decisions, and many of them will be wrong. Crim's knowledge from 2021. You gotta make decisions. Many of them are going to be wrong. Don't let that scare you away from making the decisions, I guess. Oh, that is terrible. Terribly delicious. I went to the pub for New Year's and had a very nice double Knob Creek on the rocks, and I sipped it, and it was wonderful. This show and streaming in general is actually going to cause me to hate my favorite bourbon. All right, so recentering, now that we're at the top of the hour. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz, and every Saturday I'm going to be here. I am live on MSP Waves. I'm live on a number of streams, and I talk a little bit about the Hive blockchain, but branching out. I want to do more synthwave. I want to do more interviews. I know I want to do more talking about tech and disruptive tech and that sort of retro nostalgia that we have. I want this to be a fun, engaging place for more than just our own ecosystem. And that's the goal. Grow. Grow, 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 grow. So one thing I will say is we love here in the Hive ecosystem to talk a little bit about engagement and numbers and the control that traditional media has. I mentioned it earlier, but I will say it has been fascinating in the last little bit, maybe a month or so, I tweeted about it. I said, "Oh, I'm losing Twitter followers. What else is normal, or what else is new?" But in the month since I twittered that, I have lost over 600 followers. Now, I suspect this is probably a crypto space thing, because I certainly don't tweet enough, and I know people are lazy. Somebody really, really has to make you angry for you to unfollow and block them. And in general, I don't say much of anything, first of all. And when I do, most of the people that follow me for exactly what I've said already. So that's fascinating to me. And what that shows me in my mind is that there is a sort of unrepentant, an unrepentant purge of crypto or liberty-minded individuals. Because that's a lot of people. Maybe it's not. I don't know. 600 followers is a lot to lose on Twitter. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a big Twitter person. I don't like it. But I recognize, and this is a big thing with Hive, one of the things that Hive has done, and one of the problems with Hive in a good, bad way, is that you come on Hive and you make friends and you get to meet them and you start engaging, and then they're your friends and they're your followers. And it's great. It's perfect. You're talking to them and you're like, yes, I earned these people. I know these people. Look at me. When you go to a traditional social media, you get these people, you earn these people, and then they're taken away. And we know that's a selling point of Hive, but also we know that you still have to go out there. You have to find an audience. You can't come to Hive and say, here's all the people in the world, and now I'm speaking to them. If you are a content creator, you can't just come here and collect your updoot of 10 cents and say, well, I've made it, bitches. That's not how it works. And so going into this next year, one of the most important things for me personally to do about this show and other shows and sort of some of the talks that I have is suck it up, learn social media, keep fucking trying, bring more people. And that means work harder, talk more, grow, talk about what you do yourself. I don't do any of those things. And it's very, very proven that has harmed my efforts inside the ecosystem. So that's an everybody thing. It's an every Hiver thing. Why are you here? Why are you writing? Why are you creating? Why are you engaging? There is absolutely a return, financial and otherwise, working inside our ecosystem. But if your intention is to be the next big blank, you still got to work for it, and you still got to grow. Okay, I've decided I'm going to build my community in a place where traditional social media can't take it away from me. But most people don't know about it yet. Well, if you build your community and nobody knows about it, what the fuck is the point of your community? And you still have to take it outwards. You still have to go and grow. And I have been bollocks at this. So, money where my mouth is. But it's certainly been interesting, because what it's led me to is really starting to watch these metrics that matter. And if you're not watching the video, I am doing the air quotes. What are these metrics that matter on traditional social media? What are the things that make traditional social media so incredibly addictive? What are the things that make them so incredibly valuable? Why are all the people there? Just saying I have something better does not stop the incredible momentum of something worse. And so for me, that's it. So the more that I say, okay, 2021, I'm going to learn how to tweet a little better. I'm going to learn that it's okay for me to put out a tweet before every show, because some people may want to come and watch it. And so one of the things that it's caused me to do is look a little bit more at follower numbers. Well, they don't matter. They certainly don't fucking matter. They are a really good indicator of, up to this point, what mattered to people with money. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. How do you become an influencer? Why do you become an influencer? What does social media mean? Why do people care about the number of followers? Why does follower growth go fucking exponential? Why does it go exponential? What are these things? Yeah, DDR Freak saying another piece of advice. Get out and engage the people who follow you. Follow some of them back. Engage them. They engage you. You share each other further. Yeah, that's a great tip. And so for me, the more that I watch this, the reality is people like to follow the big voices. We have that lemming mentality. And as a creator, people go, oh, well, the quality of engagement matters. Yeah, it fucking does, but I'd rather have my 100 followers who all talk to me versus 100,000 followers. Of course that's true. But at the end of the day, if you are literally trying to get your content seen, you want 100,000 followers. Don't trip. Don't be full of shit. Don't be full of shit. And that's one of those things that, again, this is the thing that I'm starting to learn the more that I've been on Twitter, the more that I approach this live streaming thing. Because for me, being in the Hive ecosystem and having you guys and having friends and people that I talk to and developers that I work with and people that I vote for and creating communities, all this stuff that I've done inside Hive feels big, but it's not. It's nothing. It's zero. It's nada. You're not zero. You're fabulous. But if you're simply looking at it as a numbers game, Hive is not numbers. You don't have numbers. You want numbers on Hive, you got to go get the numbers, you got to bring them back to Hive. And this is an everybody thing. It's not just a witness thing. It's not just a content creator thing. It's not just a content consumer thing. So for me, the more that I watch these numbers, the more that I pay attention, I start realizing how, new motto for the show, don't be full of shit. I like it. We should make it happen. For me, this is a rude awakening. You know, Julia did this incredible thing where she just went out and she said, hey, I have a YouTube. Please follow my YouTube. And Julia, what happened? You're at like 150 people now, which is not a lot in the scheme of things if you're looking at like a Linus Tech Tips. But at the same time, you literally just went to some people and said, hi, would you like to see my content? I make it. Here it is. And you went out to a place where people were and you were like, here is this thing I have to give you. Would you like it? And some people walked by and were like, oh, yes, okay, thank you. And that was it. It's so silly. But we hate it. We fucking hate it. And these are lessons that I'm watching and I'm learning and I'm understanding and I'm absorbing. And it's silly as fuck. It's silly as fuck, but it's the truth. And so in the interim, I have been watching because I don't ask these things. And I bring this up as a comparison because I didn't do that hustle. I didn't get out there and say that. And inherently what happened is YouTube quite literally nuked 24 of my followers. I think I peaked at 90 something. And I looked the other day because I thought, Twitter's doing some weird things with followers. Curious. Okay, let me go look at YouTube. And I went back to look at YouTube and I went from 90 something to 70. Stagnation and death awaits you if you do not work hard. And these are the things that I'm learning. Because in a traditional social media world, they can be taken from you. So if I truly care about this show, but if I also truly do care about these sort of social changes and blockchain, currently 69, ow, so I've dropped again. There you go. I've lost another follower. So here's the reality. It's not that I'm worried. It's not that I'm worried that I'm going to lose a ton of followers because I don't particularly care, but I should care. And this comes back to where inertia started us with is, should we have witnesses who want that number to go up? Should we be engaging people into our ecosystem, developers, project managers, witnesses, content creators who want the number to go up? Is that part of a mentality that we should be absolutely actively cultivating? Everybody talks about crypto finally, and everybody has an opinion on her. Would it be horrible if she was continually posting on Hive? Arguably, she didn't care about engagement from Hive people, and she was just farming another source of income to sell out of the ecosystem. But we also had somebody who cares if the number goes up. She's a great example of what's right and what's wrong. Who knows? How do we find that balance as a community? But at the end of the day, in the time that she, posted whatever she posted on Hive to what she is now on Twitter and YouTube, on both of those channels, she's gone up another 20, 30,000 followers in that time. So do you get to argue with the ability of number go up? Do you get to say, well, they only made it because that's salty and it's not helpful. And yeah, Inertia also did mention like, hey, people are starting to pick on Leo. People are like, oh, well, Leo's just a Hive engine token and whatever. Well, they're building an incredible front end. They're constantly innovating. What's the hard part about signups? We want to get people from other ecosystems. Let's make that easier. So they did. Oh, people really don't like how long you have to wait for the front end to load. Let's fix that. So they did. Oh, our tokenomics, we know that people really like X, Y, and Z when they see the numbers on their post. Okay, let's do that. They just do it. They just do it. So, I don't have the right answer for you, but I think we need a healthy I know Inertia. Leo has a roadmap, and they can because they have a central team who have a very invested take on where they want that token to go because they want to make money and they want to make money for everyone else and they want their website to do well. So they have a roadmap. They're a single team that can say, this is it. Money, number go up. But one of the big things is anything successful built on Hive inherently will make Hive better. We don't always acknowledge that. Stupid, but we don't. So yeah, we do. We have people now who are turning on other people who are successful. They're making more money than me. They're, not enough people are posting on Hive because they want to post on Leo. Well, Leo is on Hive. I don't know what the human condition takes. You might want to show up on Saturday nights and listen on MSP Waves. You might want to listen to, Clay and Cope to talk about the human condition. But the reality is I think that this is a lesson that I have learned or am learning, and it's a reason that we got on this topic. I need to care more about the money aspect. Not because I need more money, although I do. Like, what's the Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Me money now. Money me now. Now money me money a lot. Bringing some of that into my own mindset. What's a thing that you've avoided in your own mindset because you're like, no, that's bad. So you've completely cut it out of your own mindset. What is something like that you've cut out of your mindset that maybe if you just took a tiny little dose of it and you added it to your own mindset, you'd be a little more well-rounded? For me, that's it. And yeah, anti-socialists, I agree. We are actually seeing more people united in sort of misery, but also hopefulness in low prices, that a lot of cool new talks are happening. A lot of, very earthy and understandable. I agree. There are a lot of actually good things happening in our ecosystem because we are in the crucible. And I do agree. So much work has been done. People shit on block trades because he hasn't put out an official roadmap. He's just been working on making the social layer better. Well, you know what? That inherently is going to make everything we do here incredible. It's perfect. It's amazing. Thank God he's doing it. Yay. He's got a great team. Oh my God. Credit where credit is due. Is it the only thing that can take Hive to the moon? No, of course not. Or we'd be on the fucking moon. So you have to say, yes, this thing is great. What other little things could we bring in to make ourselves well-rounded? So, this has turned into a ridiculous, we're very lucky to still have him. I agree. And we're very lucky to have the people who are anti-block trades, because I will say, I never want to be in an ecosystem that is fully fucking homogenous. I never want to be in an ecosystem where you guys are not challenging me and everyone else. I don't want to see an ecosystem where somebody comes along and says, it's perfect. And then just says, cool, we're done. No, of course not. Of course not. And as harmonious as a team needs to be to work effectively, if there's absolutely no questioning and again, no diversity, then you're not gonna build something incredible. So I agree with you, anti-socialist. I think this is a really good place to be in, and all of the things that we can do are incredible. So now we've gotten ourselves here. This is not rah-rah talk. David ATS the other day said that I'm just full of shit and I only do rah-rah, let's work together stuff. But the reality is this is not rah-rah talk. It's a commitment for me to try and get more people talking together, working together, building different things because they don't have to agree, but it is incredibly valuable if that conversation happens. Incredibly valuable. So you and I could both be building the same thing. Rah rah. Yeah, I will tell you one thing that I never got to be in high school was a cheerleader. We big girls, we don't make the cheerleader cut. So, whatever. And in fact, I played all of the lesbian sports. I played hardball, I played I played softball, I played hardball, and I played field hockey. And now I box. So, take from that what you will. Well, I don't agree with that. I do think it matters. You and I are making totally the same thing, but we are going to do it different ways. And you know what? We're going to compete against each other, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the two of us. It might have dropped low, dude, on the web because I stepped back to look stupid on film. Ooh, look, we can become famous. Look at this guy. Ooh, somebody's watching my Twitch and it's not a human. And I actually meant to put the Twitch numbers up on screen and I had them, but they don't work. So that whole work, let's just see, stream counts. Oh, they're working. There's 2 people watching on video. Oh, look at this. 3 people on one of the Vims. I have to get both Vims combined. DDR Freak, we'll talk a little bit about that. I do have a watcher on Twitch and I have a couple people on YouTube. They're working today. Hooray! I put the numbers back on the overlay. Not that they matter, but sometimes they work. So here's the deal. If some people would share code, we would be much, much further. Agreed. This is my commitment for the new year. And so when we're talking about this stream and, things that actually matter to you guys, we've already talked a bit about commitment. But before we do, this was something that I mentioned in sort of a leadership chat the other day. As I said, here's what I can commit to for the new year. And here's what I think is the most important. And it got me the rah-rah speech. But at the same time, I will continue to figure out who is doing what. Even if it's competitive, I will continue to nag the ever-living fuck out of them, and I will bring them into places where they can talk about what they're doing. Because that fucking matters to me. Some people will want to do fully decentralized, open source, collaborative work. Other people are going to want to create smart, business-first, aggressively managed, closed source projects, and they're going to do the same thing, and that's okay. But if the closed source sort of money, funds, self-sufficiency first project talks to the open source project and they go, hey, this is in my scope. Oh, hey, this is in my scope. How do you plan to do it? Well, I plan to do it this way. Okay, well, I don't plan to do it this way. Oh, but you know what? That's not a bad idea. They can only make each other better. And in fact, if somebody says, I'm going to do this, and somebody else says, that's dumb, I wouldn't do it that way, it forces them to step up and say, okay, well, this is how I would do it. These are the ways that things happen. So that's my commitment in the coming year, especially to Hive. So I will probably continue to be called no action, rah-rah, whatever, and that sorts of thing. But at the end of the day, I will bother the fuck out of you. And you know what? Simple Games team was working on something because they didn't like Hive Engine. And he works so hard. He's got a number of games. He's a really smart guy. He's built a powerful team that he wants to see second layer, DeFi, tokens, NFTs done in an open source, truly decentralized way. And he's really unhappy with Hive Engine. Well, I dragged him, even though he hates me. We've gotten in public things where he basically tells me that I've been baiting him and whatever, and he thinks I'm a bad person. But I pinged him in the same conversation with Disregard Fiat, and the two of them are really excited about what each other are doing. And now Simple Game is going to help Deluxe test because they have the same motivations and the same interests and the same sort of ideals. So all I can commit to is this next year is consistently dragging the people who are doing incredible things into our ecosystem into talking to each other. That's what I'm going to do. We'll see if it matters. I don't know. Get back to me in a year. I'm going to be the most hated person on the blockchain. I'm already getting there. But it fucking matters to me. So Maven, I don't know. I don't fucking know. This blockchain is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. So, with all that being said, hi, Crystal. You guys were playing, you guys started playing games just this morning when all the streams started. I'm sorry I missed it. So, all of that aside, we've gone through an hour and a half. This entire stream has been about nothing. We've talked about none of the things that we actively and arguably said we would be talking about today. I have talked your fucking ear off. My name is Crimsonclad. This is Cyberbuzz. Goal is moving forward. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about Hive. We're going to talk about the retro future. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency and play some synthwave, have interviews, have fun, and turn this into a place that you want to hang out every Saturday. Or if you can't hang out on Saturdays, you're going to watch it later on and, you know, I don't know, make fun of me, because that's pretty... That's pretty par for the course. Now, with the half hour that we have left, there is some stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about today. There was some stuff that I wanted to throw out there. And I know I've had a lot of requests to start streaming video games, so I will maybe talk a little bit about that. Don't expect any today, Justin, because I always have to do... Yeah, you know what, Uncle Bonehead, this has been so tame. You know, Loud and Proud does get off the rails, and you guys get quite dirty. Man, oh man, in the last little bit, like, Cyberbuzz has kind of brought itself back around. Full Force Radio is still a disaster, but oh, in the old days, Uncle Bonehead, we'd have a bunch of people in here and everybody would be completely, you're streaming Enter the Matrix on Vim on Monday. Cool! Another one of the awesome streamers in our ecosystem. But so there's a couple things that I want to talk about today because I keep getting messages. Will you start streaming games? Will you start, you know, being more like a real live streamer? And the answer is like, yeah, maybe. Would you like that to be part of Cyberbuzz? Would you like that to be a thing here? Or is this show as it is, as unhinged as it is, does it make you happy? Would you prefer that I do a gaming stream? I don't know. You guys are here. So I'm asking you because I have you. Because I'm looking at you, bitches. But one of the things that I did want to talk about and that I'm interested in, yeah, okay, we could maybe do that part of the show. The Jackbox thing is fun. We can do more of that. Very accurate inertia. Like, I mean, we were on the trail for way, way longer than that GIF inherently shows. Like, no, we've never been in that control. But one of the things that I made sort of my own personal resolutions, and resolutions are fucking dumb, by the way, just throwing it out there. Yeah, we played, you missed it, DDR Freak, in honor of you last night on, or whatever night, what day is it? I don't know where I am. On New Year's Eve, we played a bit of Jackbox, and everybody was blown away by the what should you bring to the neighborhood orgy question. People were very excited. Whoa, I'm hemorrhaging listeners. Neat. But yeah, no, I bought an Oculus. DDR Freak, I've had this for, like, since the day it came out, literally. This is an old one, but the reason that I bring this up is because I've always had Tilt Brush. And so one of the goals this year is the more that I work in the VR space, the more that I'm kind of exploring building environments for VR, and the more that I'm kind of getting engaged with other VR streamers, I want to spend more time working in Tilt Brush. And so that's something that I'm going to be, oh yeah, I mean, I've been playing VR since like, originally, oh yeah, we've talked about this at length, the fuck Facebook. Hey, Radio Man! And we've talked about that. We had an entire show talking about how Facebook really kind of is forcibly taking the future of VR in the Ready Player One direction. And we talked a little bit about how it's good and bad that we need a company like Facebook to take over a company like Oculus. Good in that they have the money that is needed to take this to the next step. Bad in every other fucking way ever. But the reason I bring this up is because my kind of goal for the next year, and I'll share more of this with you guys, maybe not on this show, or maybe I'll record small videos and share them with you on this show. I've got the TV up in my office, which will make Fox very mad, but it's right here. I will have multiple cameras and I can stream over there. Is I want to do more VR painting. I want to create spaces that can be tied to either blockchain or to some of the projects that we're doing, like NFT Showroom, that have a connection to crypto, to you guys, but that are fully explorable in 3D space. What does art look like when it is created in 3D. It's different, and it's something very interesting to me. And there are quite a few artists doing this already. Rosie is one of them. And the other girl, I can't remember. She's super sexy. She's a sexy Russian lady who knows she's sexy, and she does these very like sexual paint jobs, and the videos are awesome. So these are things that I'm finding really interesting, and I don't know if you guys will, but that's Facebook on one hand and Microsoft on the other. You're not too interested. Yeah, you know, you don't have a lot of choices, but yes, you also do. Valve is putting out the Index, and actually there are a number of ways. I still use this original Oculus because SideQuest works really well for it. Hi, Clay! SideQuest works really well for it, and it basically allows you to sideload a bunch of programs and get completely around all of the Facebook sort of crap that goes with it. So even though I do not have a Facebook account tied to this Oculus, and it will eventually become a brick from that aspect, I can still use this headset in conjunction with my computer and other software. And that's cool, because whether you like it or not, this is absolutely, the Quests are absolutely the best headsets on the market right now. Resolution, weight, usability, portability, simplicity, everything about them is they are the best. That won't happen for long, but the only way that it gets better is if they are the best right now. If everybody hates who the best is, then everyone is going to challenge them. So it sucks. It sucks that Oculus got bought by Facebook. It sucks that Facebook policies are being tied to this super fucking cool piece of hardware. And at the same time, it is the natural circle of life. I'm sorry, that was so bad. Because VR will never improve unless a villain emerges. It's just like Inertia was saying earlier. Don't like what somebody's doing? Change it. Because if nobody challenges them, then that's all you've got. So I am really excited in the new year. This is just neither here nor there, but I'll try and share it with you guys, is to stream potentially some VR stuff, VR games, kind of some AR stuff, but also to work more on creating art in a 3D space. So Tilt Brush is something that I'm going to practice more with, that I'm going to turn into an immersive thing that we can share, and potentially turn into something that I'll stream. Now, since I'm hemorrhaging people watching, just losing them left, right, and center, that's always a good indication to shut up and change. Shut up and change the topic. So the last thing that I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about today, since I've driven literally everyone away, is I did want to talk a little bit about neural nets again. And so we're now in 2021. Just a reminder that Mad Max was originally set in 2021. So hold on to your titties, kids. But we've talked about neural nets. We've talked about artificial intelligence. We've talked about AI and neural learning on this show before. And it is really fascinating to me. And we often talk about it in terms of, 36 hours in a day, Uncle Boner would be fucking perfect. I brought this up earlier. I would love 36 hours a day. Give me all the motherfucking hours, and I will be amazing. These Looney Tunes were trash talking Kavinsky the other night. Well, I mean, Kavinsky is in some ways kind of a trope now, but Kavinsky is also one of the first and greatest synthwave artists out there. And if you don't like Nightcall, I don't like you. So that's fine. But let's face it, today we don't have enough time left to turn this into a synthwave stream, and all of my screeching at my headphones, means that I didn't get a chance to really put together the playlist that I wanted to. So it's off the table for today. Next week. However, one of the things I want to talk about, normally we talk about AI, we talk about neural nets, we talk about sort of these crazy enhanced, big brain machines that we're building in terms of how scared we are of them. And there's some great potential. We know there's some great potential. But one of the things that makes me laugh, and maybe you guys did it, but maybe you didn't. And if you haven't seen it, it's fucking hilarious. There was an AI that was created very specifically to roast you about your music taste. So thanks for the seg there, Clay. I was already halfway into it, but you just fucking hammered this bitch home. So this AI they basically went out and they found all of the music publications out there, all of the mainstream music publications, but all of the music publications that were full of insufferable critic types. Insufferable critic types. And then went out of their way to train this AI to be a snooty piece of shit. And so this neural net was trained specifically to be condescending, rude, and judgy about your music. And I am not going to lie to you guys, it is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. And in some ways, it is terrifying, but in some ways, it is one of the most absolutely spot on, incredible uses of neural nets and AI learning that I've ever seen. It's so good. And so often on this show and elsewhere, and I know Ron's a big proponent of this argument, is one of the problems with AI is that we can train something to be incredibly convincingly human. We can train something to act like a human, to read like a human, to think like a human, and to mimic a human very, very, very closely. And that's valuable in its own way. We can't necessarily, or maybe this is the argument, is for actual AI, can we create true intelligence? What is intelligence? What is humanity? What is a soul? What is original thought? You know, what's actually original thought versus what's a randomizer that an AI comes up with something good based on feedback from real humans? You know, those things aren't spontaneous or human or artificial intelligence in the way that we know it. But with all that being said, the reason that I bring this up is here is this Spotify AI that will read you to fucking filth. And it has been trained to not care what type of music you like. It doesn't matter. You can be original, you can be basic, you can listen to only the top 40, you can listen to, you know, if you're Ron, you can listen to Himalayan yak mouth harp EDM. That's fine. It will still absolutely fucking read you to filth. It is incredible. And so I thought I would share this with you guys because I was shocked at how attacked I felt. Absolutely shocked. I let this thing take a look at my Spotify and it made me feel about 2 inches tall. Now, remember, we actually fucking trained this AI to do this. We trained this AI to make you feel like trash. No matter what you told it, it is going to make you feel like a piece of shit. And so I guess my argument here, other than the fact that, yes, we absolutely should be fucking scared of Skynet, is, oh my God, humans are so mean to each other. And they're so mean to each other so consistently that we taught an AI to do it almost instantaneously, and to do it in a way that is completely the same as a human. This thing is like a judgy motherfucker with some sort of tall hipster like latte standing in front of you, raising an eyebrow and throwing the hardest of shade at your musical choices. So I'm gonna find it for you guys because it's at an URL that has pudding in it, and I've forgotten off the top of my head. Spotify AI pudding. We'll do that. It's pudding.cool. Okay, here you go. So if you guys want to try it, if you use Spotify, this is really fascinating because when you look at this, if you decide to look at this, this is based solely on, quantifiable data. So in a lot of cases, for many of you, you do things on the blockchain, on a transparent ledger. Imagine for a second if we actually had... Everybody's leaving. Oh my God. All of the streams, everybody's just leaving. The Discord is emptying out. All of the actual streaming channels, people are just fucking leaving. Go, Crim! But this is really, really fucking funny because it interacts with you in real time. It waits for your prompts. And it does not matter. I don't care what you think your music taste is like. This thing will eviscerate you. You will feel like a piece of trash. And so for me, this is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious, because imagine for a second, what if we created an AI and we and we trained it on your voting history on the Hive blockchain? What if we trained an AI to take a look at the most used tags on the blockchain, or your consensus votes, or whatever? I mean, this could be done with almost anything, but I have to say, this made me almost pee my pants. I just want to throw this out there because this made me almost pee my fucking pants. Quitters! I know, quitters. It could be that I just need to be more entertaining and a better host, anti-socialist, but I like the solidarity. So this thing, I mean, would you guys like to look at mine live? I can try and set it up live, but if not, I actually screen capped a bunch of things it said about me. Now, the only thing that I learned, unfortunately, is because I use my Spotify for my live streams, and I have... Can you train it to be nice? No, we can't. We can't at all. Absolutely not. You know, I read a really interesting paper the other day, and it was very, honestly, it was very over the top. It was very extra. But it was arguing that there is an inherent racial bias in AI and neural network, because most of the people who work with AI or who feed information into an AI are white, or feeding it information from white people. And I just thought, my God, what a fucking 2020 thing. Even the AI is racist. Of course, sure, whatever. But it is an interesting idea. How do you train a neural net without actually accidentally training in your own inherent biases? I don't give much of a shit about what anybody thinks about my music. That's why it's mine. No, I agree, Big Tom. I'm literally never going to change what I listen to. But at the same time, oh my God, I felt so attacked. And it was funny. It was absolutely funny. But oh my Atlanta. And it's just a statistics algorithm. You're right, Darsico. But what else could you train statistically in a way that that would result in this? But yeah, apparently some Google chick got asked for this. And so yeah, this is something that I think is really interesting. And there's probably an entire emerging industry on this, which is, you know, morals and ethics and, you know, transhumanism in a world where, you know, you're training up neural nets. What does ethics look like? Is that, what does research bias look like for that? I don't know. Who fucking cares? But let me show you what this thing saw. Let's take a look at what this thing saw about my music. One of the first things that it did was it found bands that are traditionally popular and then fucking ragged on me for those. But here's one of the things that it said about this. Oh, this might, I wonder if that's the paper that I read. Interesting. We cannot train without our biases. We can code it to bypass our biases. Yeah. And you know what, Big Tom, that's a really great thing. Maybe that's something that Clay can delve into on his show, is that we always will carry bias. And bias is actually a part of, you know, how we make decisions. And bias, you know, if we are aware of our bias, it can be powerful and useful to us. But the problem is becoming aware of your bias. We're not all super fucking good at that. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, sometimes less so. But so the first thing this thing did is it asked me if I listen to metal ironically. And so I said no. And it started typing and it was like, oh yeah, look at this. Amorphous, a lot. And then it ripped on me because I do like Powerwolf. And then it said I've been listening to a lot of Manowar lately and asked me if I was okay. Which, by the way, I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't listen to a lot of Manowar. This thing is just trying to unsettle me, and it worked. But also, Manowar's great. Don't judge me. And so I said, yeah, I was fine. And I answered it. And so then the next thing it did is it went and it took a look. Yeah, Yeah, we are. I mean, what it is, without confirmation bias, arguably, could you even be human? But so then, so then I answered the question honestly, and I said, yeah, I'm fucking fine. The Twitch stream keeps dying. God damn. I wonder if there's a restream issue, because looking here, I have 0 dropped network frames. I'm not sure what's going on, guys. It might be a restream issue, and if so, I truly, truly apologize. I have 0% missed frames for rendering and encoding, and 0 network frames. So it might be a restream thing, and I totally apologize. But so the next thing I said, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, why? And they're like, oh, of course, Dark Tranquility. And then it picked a bunch of probably what I guess are considered basic bands, and it asked me to fuck, marry, kill. And I just about spit out my goddamn tea. Now, I imagine this is part of this AI's algorithm. Yeah, and there is a lot of lag across all of the different streams because I am doing a restream. So what that means is I'm streaming to a server, and then that server is feeding it to everybody else. So there's a delay in that thing. So I had to choose to fuck, marry, kill. I assume if you do this, you will also be asked to do a fuck, marry, kill with some of your most embarrassing bands. And I actually really struggled with this question. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fucking struggled with this question. I did. Yeah. So, yeah, that was exactly my answer. And I felt bad. I felt bad for killing Powerwolf Clay, but that was exactly it. I'm going to marry Till Lindemann, and he and I are going to ride off into the sunset on his gigantic dick. And Ghost is probably good for a good fuck. Let's be realistic. And, you know, if I have to give somebody up, then it's going to be Powerwolf. Bye, Uncle Bonehead. And so already I'm so off balanced. I'm so off track. And so then after that, it gave me a couple of opinions on my Spotify, and I will share them with you, and I hope you guys get better results, but I know you will not. There's the one. Your Spotify was dad rock, metal, and more metal bad. And I thought that's just lazy. And then I realized, no, it's not, because the next thing it followed it up with was, your Spotify was napping in your man cave, metal addict bad. And I realized, oh no. Oh no. I might be. You joined the YouTube stream at Ghost Fuck. Well, I apologize. I've gotten most of the hive talk out of my system today, but hey, Acid, we've been talking about what Cyberbuzz is going to look like in the future, about game streaming. Right now, we're talking about neural nets and training neural nets to insult us horrifically. So you've missed absolutely nothing. But I realized that, oh my god, I do. I have the musical tastes of a, 45 to 50-year-old man. Probably a dad. Oh no! God damn you, AI! Go! Oh no! And I started realizing this is bad. But just wait! Because you know what? This thing isn't done yet. It takes the knife and it fucking just jabs that fucker in there. Now, if you're not in the Discord, you're not seeing these on the video stream, and I apologize, so I will read these out to you. But so now that I've been outed as a dad, because clearly I am, it then went through my Spotify, and I thought, you know what? It's okay. If it looks at the other songs I listen to, I listen to a lot of Amorphous, and I really do like Ghost, and you know what? I'm okay with liking Rammstein. Fuck you, algorithm. The rest of my music, that's fine. No problem. Well, no. This thing is programmed to make you feel bad, and I was shocked at how good it is at it. So, let me show you some of the other things and prepare you for what's going to happen. It immediately, I guess, it doesn't want you to feel good if you have a diversity of music. So the first thing it did, because apparently if you listen to only radio hits, you're considered basic. So it went out of its way to make sure to twist that knife on me. And the first thing it said is, you're 1% basic. Oh wow, Throssenblatt and Ile Arson, your taste is so obscure, that's so cool, I bet you're super interesting. I could just read the sarcasm, and I feel so attacked. Now I feel bad that I don't listen to enough popular music. Oh, I bet you're so interesting. Oh my gosh. And it just kept going. It just went great. I can't even, there are no words. So I'm really hoping some of you guys do this. And speaking of more synthwave, you know, that I'm going to totally go out of my way to attract more synthwave streamers and do live interviews with them. You're 1% basic. Have you ever considered there's a reason that nobody listens to Glitch Black? Wow. Wow. Now, for example, Glitch Black is actually one of the artists that I considered inviting on here early in time because he does 3D art, and a bunch of people actually approached him and brought him into the crypto art scene. And I'm like, now if I post this or he ever sees this video, he's gonna, oh my God. My God. And on and on and on and on. It went out of its way to make sure that just in case I had a shred of dignity left, even the tiniest little bit, it killed it. You're 1% basic. Jess and the Ancient Ones and Sorcerer? Where do you even find this shit? This is this fucking AI typing at me. So, I do indeed hope that if you guys go out of your way to try this algorithm, to try this Spotify bot, that you remember that we as humans trained this AI. And we as humans are huge assholes. And if there is anything that we will do well and we will succeed at, it will be to train a neural net to read us to filth, to roast our butts. And I still, at this point, I did have a moment where I was like, I'm gonna listen to some other things now. I'm gonna play some other stuff, not because you told me to, but because I feel like it. It was a very good, humbling exercise in sticking to my guns and supporting the things and enjoying the things that I enjoy, because holy shit, whew, I feel attacked. Anyways, I hope you guys check that out. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. And watch it as the flip side of AI problems and neural net problems. Let's just forget for a second that Boston Dynamics has now trained all of the robots to dance so spectacularly that we won't even notice as they all pull knives on us. Let's let's rejoice in some of the utter absurdity that is still being used out there for some of this tech. Now, we're basically in the last couple seconds of the show. Not seconds, couple minutes. I know Ron has probably been playing Skyrim in the background, in which case, actually, big fucking ups to Ron, because Skyrim is where it's at. And that's actually something that I am considering. I don't know if I will be able to stream that for you guys, but I thought, what is one of the most ridiculous things that I could do on live stream if I do a gaming stream? And so, you guys may or may not know, Skyrim, I mean, the Elder Scrolls in general, basically consumed all of my childhood. But Skyrim especially, oh, I spent a lot of time playing Skyrim. You haven't played today? That's sad. And Clay's got coffee now. Yay! Someday I'm going to make a show that you want to listen to, Clay, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm going to turn this show back into a thing you want to listen to someday. Half of you love the Hive Talk, half of you hate it. But yeah, so Skyrim, I spent a lot of time in Skyrim. I played 3 500-hour plus playthroughs on the original game. Then I got the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC, and I had another 3 500-hour plus playthroughs. And then I got out. I love Morrowind, and one of the reasons that I loved both Oblivion and Skyrim in both cases is because they had a couple of Morrowind tie-ins. And actually, Oblivion had one of my favorite places in all of like Tamriel and all of the realms in all of the Elder Scrolls games, and that was Sheogorath's like realm of madness. And you do go back to it in Skyrim, but it's not the same. It's not like the full expansion that you have in Oblivion. And when you go through Sheogorath's quests and his realm in Oblivion, and oh god, I'm fucking nerding out right now. Let's maybe quickly we'll come back and quickly get off this topic. But long story short, I fucking love Skyrim. And so I did indeed install it here on this, my Powerhouse PC that I built. And I did indeed install the VR version of it. So I am trying to get there. I'm nerding out. I spent so many hours playing Elder Scrolls games, guys. Oh my God. But so I did install Skyrim on this PC, and I have it in VR. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to be flailing around like an idiot, because you're going to look like a goddamn twit. Like, real talk. Going to look like a goddamn twit. But one of the things that I really want to do is I want to mod the ever-living snot out of it, because one of the things that I didn't have when I was originally playing Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls games is I did not mod it. And so I was just mentioning this to Ron earlier. They were okay looking games. They weren't amazing for the time. What Skyrim got right was ambiance. You would... Yeah, I know. And they're still focused on the MMO. Elder Scrolls Online, they're still so focused on it, and it makes me so fucking angry. God damn it. But so what Skyrim got right is ambiance, and one of the VR to ER, yeah, it's accurate. That's so accurate, Acid. But one of the things that I love the absolute most about Skyrim in general was the ambiance. So you would get out, and yeah, I did know that. They've been working on it forever, Clay. Oh, yeah, he's typing the same thing. So let me finish. The ambiance is great. So if you've never played Skyrim, one of the things that was amazing is between the sound design and the sort of expansive nature of it is if you kind of climbed your way up into these blowing snow mountainous hillsides and you looked out, the draw distance was fucking immense. And there is these giant moons and the aurora is flying through the sky and the snow is sweeping over you and you're looking down and you can see these mist-wreathed ruins, you know, of old ancient, you know, like dungeons peeking out of the mountains, and you can look down and look beyond the snow line into these little villages, and it was incredible. So even though Skyrim didn't look the best, it certainly wasn't the most incredible graphics-wise. It was so incredibly immersive. The wind is whistling in your ears, and, you know, you can hear animals scuffling around in the snow, and in the immensity of this environment really dragged me in. I loved everything about Skyrim because of that. But one of the things that I did not get a chance to really enjoy was what it could have looked like. And so community modders have been doing incredible things. Insane 4K texture packs, you know, complete water rewrites, customizable skyboxes, anything that you can mod in anything in any game has been done to Skyrim. Of course, you can look on YouTube for many people who have explored the different types of mods. You want your Argonian ladies to have quadruple H tits? No problem. Them lusty Argonian maids will be like custom made for you. Khajiit has dick. Absolutely. I'm not saying everybody that mods is a furry. I am saying it is a thing that happens a lot, though. But you name it, there's a mod for it. There are entire expansive fucking storylines that have been created, like the Thieves Guilds, you know, like the when you're working with the rest of the shadows. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about it because Ron's got to experience it. All of those mods don't work on the VR version. Not all of them, Clay, but some of them do. And the other thing that does work on the VR version is there are a lot of actual interface mods. And this is something that I'm going to spend some time working on, and it's probably not relevant to this show, but who fucking cares? I'm going to spend some time checking them out, because what you think when you sit and you use sort of a keyboard and a mouse to engage with a video game changes immensely when all of a sudden you're in this world. Very, very different. And so even how you engage with a menu, how you interact with sort of the game itself completely changes based on your own capabilities. These little handsets, you can do hand tracking now. That's very supported. Things like that. How you engage is different. So there's a lot of mods that I want to add, but I'm warning you guys now. You need a supercomputer to run that shit. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I have a 2080 Ti, and I suspect when I get this modded up, it's gonna chug. I'm waiting a little bit on the 3090s because I know they're going to improve, and I know shit is fucked up. I know shit's fucked up right now. But we're running out of time. We only got like a minute left in the show. So we did not actually talk about anything useful today. I started out with a good amount of people. I was talking about Hive. I started talking about Hive and some people left. I stopped talking about Hive and more people left. 2021, I'm going to work a little harder on focusing more on me and my pursuits, and that's my promise to you guys, and we'll see where Cyberbuzz goes. This show evolves. It is your show. I do it because you like it. I do it because I like it, and who the fuck knows what will come of it. I would like to see big things, both from the blockchain, both from this stream, and everything else in the new year, and I think we can make that happen. So with that being said, you know, we powered through the tech issues today. I will make sure that I do a little bit better moving forward coming into the next show. And we're going to start a new year of content, a new year of fun, a new year of learning. And a big thanks for sticking with me through the last one. If you want to stick around, there are more shows today. Go to mspwaves.com for the full schedule. I am making a website for Cyberbuzz. We'll talk more about that next week. My name is Crimsonclad. The next time you will find me live is on Thursday nights for Full Force Radio. Hard rock, heavy metal, and sass or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, bye guys.